What's up, guys? Welcome once again to the Save Continue podcast. My name is Ryan Robinson. With me is Tom Shelby.
Hello.
Shanee Howard.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about video games today. Also, Shanee got us some Cracker Jack popcorn that has cookies on it. Or in it. Or is cookies.
I don't know. Like I said, I was going to go for weird snacks.
Yeah. So, if Shanee wants to keep up with this weird snack trend, we will oblige. So...
Snackcast.
I don't like it.
Nor do I.
That's alright.
Don't do
I'll
this
keep
again.
eating. I don't like that aftertaste.
Yeah, it's got a weird aftertaste, especially after you've been slamming a rock star. You know, that's been funny to me all week. Like,
That Papa Roach thing.
Yeah, slamming a monster while listening to your favorite Papa Roach tracks.
Yeah.
I haven't had a favorite Papa Roach track in about 15 years. So Tom, Shanee.
Yeah.
Shanee, first of all, how are you today?
I'm good.
I'm going to keep eating this because actually it's not bad.
I'm going to keep eating it to try and keep away the bad aftertaste. Yeah. Like, the first taste is fine.
I'm going to not eat it.
Just like restarting the cycle. You just sip your Red Bull to get rid of that.
There's probably still some gin in the fridge, right?
Oh, yeah. It hasn't been touched.
Oh, untouched gin.
Like a virgin.
How are you, Shanee? I don't think I've asked you that in some time now.
You know, we don't see enough of Shanee outside the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really do much outside the show.
I mean, you got your dog, so that's probably keeping you busy.
I'm fantastic. I had to work, so I wasn't there for it. But she got to meet the first dog that's bigger than her.
Yeah.
I saw that video.
It's a bloodhound, and she's much tinier than that.
Yeah.
So super fun having her not be the biggest dog to play with.
Yeah. Did those dogs get along?
Yeah. They have like a long-haired a long-haired wiener dog.
Dachshund.
That hates all other dogs. So they didn't get along, but the Bloodhound and Luna got along splendidly.
What was the Bloodhound's name, out of curiosity?
Lady.
That's cute. Like Lady Bird.
Dachshunds have a lot of health problems.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Such as?
Well, because over time, as they gain weight, their back tends to give. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times their stomachs will start to rub on the floor.
But it has all that long hair.
Yeah.
For a buffer.
Yeah, sure. Have you been playing video games at all lately?
Just Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay. How has that been going?
Trivia.
My bad. I didn't know you were ready for it this week.
Is that my...
Only reason I wasn't ready last week is because you were supposed to have one, remember?
I remember.
But you didn't have one, so I wasn't ready.
You know what the aftertaste is like? It's like the cheap sugar cookies that you get from Walmart.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking it tasted it tasted kind of like cereal at first.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
First taste, not that bad. Tastes like cereal.
So in Super Mario 64,
Uh-huh.
to my knowledge, there are only two characters that laugh in that game. You got Bowser.
Mm-hmm.
There is another character in that game with a laugh.
Mario.
That is actually just a sped-up recording of Bowser's laugh. What character is that?
Bowser Jr.
Bowser Jr. in that game?
No, he's not. I don't think Bowser Jr. was invented yet at that point.
I like that kid.
It was a speck in his father's eye at that point.
Yeah.
Any guesses?
Huh?
Any guesses?
Well, I mean, I don't know. The only two characters I can name that are in that game are Mario and Bowser. So if it's not Mario,
You can name other characters. You know, Koopas and Chain Chomps and all that.
What's the cloud guy?
I thought you meant like, because I thought you meant.
Let's
like
say enemy.
And okay. Well, I'm running through my mind
I
with.
feel like it's kind of obvious because there's only one Mario enemy that I kind of associate with laughter.
Or is it the cloud guy?
Lucky to? No. He's not an enemy in that game.
Is it a Boo?
It's a Boo.
Ha! Right on.
Yeah. It's just a sped up version of Bowser's laugh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you know? Who did Bowser's laugh?
Who did it? I don't know.
Charles Martinet.
No, I mean, it's possible.
Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Yes.
Reggie Fils-Aimé
That
did
is
not
it.
slap.
Jay Fenoy.
Also, Shanee, you missed. Tom came up with a real world that starred video game figureheads.
Yeah.
Like Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Oh, like real world versus
Yeah.
real. Okay.
No, just like real
Just real world.
Like just them in the house.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking like MTV Real World
Right.
or like
Yeah.
Real World.
Yeah, yeah. MTV World World.
Yeah. What happens?
IRL.
Yeah. And I imagine
People stop being
Sean
polite.
Layden crying in the confessional a lot.
I just imagine Mark Cerny because he's so quiet.
Yeah.
He's the one that ends up going off on somebody and getting kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Kojima just hanging out over there.
I think he would come over sometimes. The way I pictured it was because when Tom brought it up, I was like picturing more of like a sitcom sort of situation. Because I figured Phil Spencer would be the guy who brought the girls over all the time. The Sean Layden would be more of a. Did you ever watch The Odd Couple starring Tony Randall?
No.
Okay, then yeah, I guess you won't get this reference. But I feel like he would be the guy who would be really uptight.
Yeah. You left your dishes in the sink, Shuhei.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Reggie would also he would be like the jock, and he'd always be going to the gym to get a good pump.
I do think Reggie Fils-Aimé could beat up all of these other people.
Yeah. Well, he's got the size on him.
Yeah.
And he's got those long arms, and he looks like he gives a mean headbutt
Yeah.
because he's got that big Easter Island head.
And none of them would hang out with Larry Herb.
I think Larry Herb would be like he would constantly try to hang out with Phil Spencer.
Yeah.
And he would constantly try to like impress him. And he's like, look at my new Windows phone. No. I don't know. I think I'd always had like a not the greatest opinion of that guy, but like I laughed really hard when I was watching him do that 1X unboxing with his white gloves.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
I was like, that's a bit much. It's a little much. But I mean,
In his daily life, he wears white gloves quite often.
well, I feel like that's like maybe that's not even that far off because he seems to have like even as someone who is like pretty much the brand guy for Microsoft or for Xbox, he very much seems to have a reverence for that whole ecosystem that I've don't really see anywhere else. So I feel like there is a possibility that even at home he handles his stuff with white gloves.
He's taking out the trash. Got on
yeah.
his trash gloves.
I want to say it was one of the iterations of the 360 when he was doing the unboxing for that. And it couldn't have been the Jasper units because at this point Xbox was giving you an HDMI cable.
Right.
And he made like such a big deal about how, here's an HDMI cable in here. Like, you knew there was an HDMI cable.
That's
there, you know?
that's kind of what got me too. Is that I think
You know everything that's in there.
when the
Or like he'll pull out like the fucking 50-cent chat headset.
Yeah.
And he's all about it. And I was like, dude, nobody uses that.
yeah
Yeah.
I still use it
Oh my
to this
god.
day.
when
How? It's not even 3.5 millimeter. What are you using it with? There's nothing for you to use it with.
I just wear it. It's comfy.
I just I think about the when he was doing the unboxing for the original Xbox One, and he was like just like he was taking out all the things like just beautiful, everything was beautiful.
Oh
him.
yeah.
I
I remember when he did the 1S, but like he had like a regular Xbox One there, but it turned out it was just a shell of an Xbox One, and he took it off. Yeah.
Oh my god, that fucking guy, man. Actually, I said this before though. Like, I give Larry Herb a lot of shit, but like, I also one of the things that like really affected me and not was what was it that that Nintendo was pushing when I think it was Breath of the Wild, where Reggie was like.
Oh yeah, that was their E3. No, that was a Switch reveal event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, if you listen closely.
Oh my god, I was like,
Yeah.
this fucking guy.
Well, it's funny because like Nintendo can do that because it's all
Like-
not only scripted but like it's pre-canned footage. You
Yeah.
know, it's not like live, but
And the whole like,
like
oh,
the event itself was live,
Yeah.
but everything with Ainuma and fucking Reggie Fils-Aimé, that was all canned. You know,
and he was just like, oh, Mr. Miyamoto.
yeah,
And it was like, you knew he was there, man.
yeah,
Like, don't stop fucking with me. Just like you knew he was there.
right.
I don't know. And then
Figureheads are funny.
they are funny. Especially the like.
And I'm aware most of these guys have like actual jobs in these companies,
Yeah.
but like
But this
funny.
is how they're presented to
Right.
us. You know.
And none of their jackets fit.
Yeah, rarely.
Well,
rarely
it was
do
funny
they fit.
when Sean Layden was wearing that T-shirt, I believe, over his suit or something like that.
Well, no, you did one for Crash and you
Yeah.
did one for Wipeout as
The
well.
Crash T-shirt,
Yeah,
very ill-fitting.
Ugh.
yeah,
And I believe his ill-fitting T-shirt was a part of your
yeah.
E3 fantasy.
Well, because until they got their shit together, it was expected. You know. Now I think he presents himself with like a bit of class.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But then like when
Like PSX is the show where you'll see Layden in a shirt.
Yeah.
Right. You're not going to see that at E3 anymore.
yeah. But when that time when he was like, you know, everybody should come out to an orchestra.
Yeah.
I recommend it. I was like, you know that I can't do that, man. Like,
I don't know, man. I thought he was on point during that one.
Yeah.
But
which one was it? Was it
On
was,
point.
with this past E3 where the Days Gone they had the
Yeah.
fucking thingies and like he was like, I didn't know those zombies were there.
yeah,
He knew they were there.
I'm sure he did. Yeah. I
don't-
mean,
I
they
don't
do
know.
rehearse those things.
Yeah. But like Tom and I were talking about like what our E3 presentation would be like, and like we would save so much time because it'd just be like, all right, there's the game, there you go,
Buy it.
buy it. Here's the next game, there you go.
Well, and that's funny because that's kind of what Sony did with 2015 or 16, 15
Yeah.
or 16,
16.
and it was just, and they've continued to do that, but they have added more talking. But whichever one that with the God of War and all that,
16.
you know, that it was just game. There was probably less than 10 minutes talking total in that conference. You know,
So I mean, yeah, there's a template. I feel like if you're presenting on a stage at one of these conferences that you follow.
and Nintendo's trying to do that with their directs as well recently. Like there is still talking there, but like they have the list
Yeah.
of everything that they're going to talk about, and they just show them one after another.
Yeah.
You know.
And then Reggie comes back at the end and says,
Yeah.
hey, so you saw all of that. Now, be ready to buy it.
Yeah.
I feel like A, if it's your job to be presenting stuff, look presentable. It's
Yeah.
going everywhere. I feel like
I don't know. Sean Layden wears nice suits.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the conference, right? PSX is like diehard Sony fans.
Yeah.
Whereas E3, he wears a suit.
Yeah, because
just have your clothes fit you correctly. Like it's not that hard
I don't know.
to go to a seamstress
I mean,
and have
Gio
somebody
Corsi
do
goes out there in a fucking hockey sweater, you know?
yeah, and he's
But-
cool.
Yeah.
I feel like only he can get away with that though.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith always wears a hockey.
Well, to be
Or
fair,
sports
they look very similar.
They do. They look like they hang out. But
But like also like conferences, like yeah, especially when you're doing like E3, just like yeah, that's exactly what you should do. Hey, this is what we're gonna all show you, and then this is it.
Well,
Because
so
that's
it's
what
like-
everyone
'cause
wants. They
P-
want to know what they're gonna see, and then they want to see it.
yeah,
Like it's not that hard. Like,
sure.
it's-
Well, I mean, we say
three
it's
steps.
not that hard, but like, I mean,
No,
you know.
man, I can run that shit.
I would like to
Hire
see
me.
a Shanee
Oh, that'd
E3
be such a
presentation.
fucking... it's fucking garbage. Garbage show.
Because like,
There's gonna be random noises in between clips.
what would happen is like Shanee would be trying to talk
This
about
isn't
something.
a Chili's.
Shanee would be trying to talk about something on stage, and then she would hear something. She would hear what sounded like someone like talking shit, and then
Was
she'd
that-
stop her presentation. Be like, I'm sorry, what was that? What was that?
Well, I think it was the same year, 2016, right? Where that had that lady that was like super loud and wooing and clapping.
Yeah, if
Yes!
not that year, the year before, yeah.
Yeah, it was that
Yeah.
year because I was like, "Shut the fuck up, lady!" I'd totally be like, "Excuse me, can you like calm your
Yeah,
shit?"
see, that's why you don't present.
That was
at
during
E3.
Bethesda while they were talking about fucking Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
No, what was going on when they were doing the symphony for God of War and stuff like that? And then,
Well, the Woo lady was definitely Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but there was a, it might have been the same lady just fucking shit up at every.
I want Sony to bring back the beatbox lady.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just bring her back. I mean,
I shouldn't run a presentation. You're right. It would be a shit show.
well, I feel like for for a specific audience, you might actually
The Atomi conference.
I mean, I'm sure.
No, they
I'm
probably
sure
still hate me there.
Well, maybe, but I think that I'm sure that there is a conference that you could probably do. You actually could be one of the. You'd probably be actually more equipped to do those things. One of those pre E3 shows where they're like sitting in a room.
Oh, yeah, the awkward ones where people are always like in the lounge. You're like, so what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Call that the post show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend getting that close to them.
That's what they do. And then it's like always, it just feels like they like don't prep the people. Like, hey, we're gonna talk to you. All right, cool. And then that's what it is. And it's like it's always very awkward, and it's always just like a different level of energy. You gotta match that person.
I think. Well,
I think there's certain people that do it okay. Like Andrew Renee, Anthony Carboni, they've done it, and they're like, that's what they do for a living, you know? They talk to people.
yeah.
But like at the same point, like I said, like you have to match the energy of the people you're talking to. That makes it much better and less awkward.
Also wonder. I was thinking about this the other day because I was.
I sell so many Tostinos.
I was recently playing Assassin's Creed, and I was thinking about like, why did they show that game outside during the daytime?
That was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see. You could hardly see the screen.
They did that with NBA Live as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a little safer to do that with NBA Live though. Maybe not.
I mean, I don't know. The numbers on Origins kind of speaks for itself, you know?
Didn't NBA Live disappear for a couple years?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed right now is top of the NPDs.
It's a cool game.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about that today. 'Cause I'd like to. Tom,
Yes.
let's talk about Splatoon.
Yes, let's.
How is so I was saying before the show that you are enjoying that game more than I expected you to.
Sure. More than I expected myself to.
Is it because of the sexy squids?
Yes. No. It's interesting, right? Like, there's competitive shooters in the past that I really enjoyed. Modern Warfare 3, Team Fortress 2, things like that.
Sure.
And I played very little of the first Splatoon because I didn't have a Wii U. But Splatoon 2, and I think this probably mirrors Splatoon 1 as well, I just don't personally know, is so interesting to me. Like, it's a fucking competitive shooter, you know? It's Nintendo's take on a competitive shooter. But it does a couple of things that I think like really set it apart. One, like, not just the aesthetic, right? It's cartoony. People know that. Either you like it or you don't. It's very like 90s Nickelodeon. People described it as, right? And it does feel that way. But like, there's not much of a story there. There is a story, but it's very light on story.
Yeah.
But like, it builds its world incredibly well. Like, clothing brands, people care about certain clothing brands in that world. It's really weird.
Yeah.
The mechanics of the game are really neat because, like, let's say you're terrible at competitive shooters, right?
Which I am.
Like, you can still contribute, right?
Yeah.
Because what most people play is turf war. Even if you're missing your target, you're still hitting the floor. You're still helping your team out.
Right.
You know? And it's interesting for a guy like me who has never played anything like turf war, unless you count, like, Tony Hawk's graffiti mode or something like that, you know, which is still very, very different.
Yeah.
To go into it with a shooter mentality that I'm just going to go kill everybody.
Sure.
You know, because that's what I'm used to doing. That's what these games have conditioned me to want to do in these situations. But like, even for that, it rewards you because while the goal might not be to kill anybody, you're still helping your team by doing so because that's less paint the other team is throwing.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. Now, does it take into account, like, because I have to imagine that after the game there's like a like a scoreboard or whatever?
Yep.
Does it tallies your kills?
Tallies your kills and your assists.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can still have the lowest kills, lowest assists,
But be the MVP.
and be the MVP because of how much turf you've covered.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Speaking, I said earlier that I hadn't played Splatoon, but I just like I just got jogged. Like, I played with my friend Joey. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Without the first one or the second one?
The
Okay.
first one. And yeah, I remember just like having fun. Like, I'm gonna paint everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that was fun. Like not giving a fuck and just like paint.
Also, like, I've never been a huge fan of motion controls. There's a couple of games that I think do it well, but for the most part, I don't like it.
I
But
don't like it.
the way that Splatoon does its motion controls, like I guess I can't say I'm surprised, but I'm like, why isn't every single console shooter this way?
Sure.
They should all be this way.
Right.
And I plan on making a video on it. You know, standard controller, keyboard, mouse,
Right.
Splatoon controls,
Right.
and comparing the three. Obviously, keyboard and mouse is always going to be the best as far as first-person shooting games go.
Right.
Well, most games.
Right, but you know, the speed and accuracy at which you can aim and fire with the way that Splatoon controls, I feel like Call of Duty should be doing this. Battlefront, like I feel like all of them should do this. And I think that the reason why they don't is because people have such a negative connotations with motion controls and all that. You know, people look down on it, and I understand why.
Because this hasn't been done really that well up to this point.
Right, but I do feel it's as much of an advancement for console shooters as a second analog stick was.
Right.
You know.
A lot of people also just feel like it's gimmicky.
Right. But that's just the thing, right? Like I can turn 180 degrees with an analog stick, and it'll happen maybe half a second, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a full second, half a second, depending on what game you're playing, what your sensitivity is set at.
Right.
In Splatoon, I can turn the controller while turning the right analog stick and be facing backwards in a small fraction of that time.
Right.
You know, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. I've started playing with a group. I found a team to play with off of Discord.
Nice.
And that's a lot of fun. And they're telling me about 2 competitions coming up. So I'm like,
You gonna enter?
I don't know. Maybe.
Do it.
We'll see.
You should do it, man. I feel like if you're having,
Be a pro Splatoon player.
Well, it's not pro. It's all local competition.
Well, I
Be
feel
a-
like-
be a local pro.
if you're having this much fun with the game, like why not?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so tournament play isn't much turf war, and that's what I'm playing the most of.
Yeah.
You know.
So what are the multiplayer modes in that game?
There's turf war, which you can do at any rank. I've just now ranked up high enough to do ranked battles, which is like there's a mode called Splat Zones,
Okay.
which is like defending a point. There's Rainmaker, which is like payload, right? Like
Okay.
moving a payload from the middle of the arena to a marked area in the opponent's side. You know, there are other modes like Salmon Run. I think Salmon Run is really cool. That's basically a horde mode. And I was telling you about this. You can't jump into Splatoon and just pick whatever map you want,
Right.
and
There's a
whatever
rotation.
mode you want and play it. There's a rotation, right? So, like, if I want to play Salmon Run, unless I am playing with a group of friends, if I'm playing with strangers, it might not be available for me to play, you know? And when I first heard about this, I'm like, that's fucking dumb. I want to play Salmon Run whenever I want to play Salmon Run, right? Or I want to play this stage whenever I want to play this stage. But as time goes on, like, Nintendo's done a good job of doing this and that, like, it feels exciting when you get on and the mode you like or the map you like is available, and you're like, well, I know what I'm doing for the next 2 hours, right? Also with their Splatfest, which is like a dumb thing. It's a dumb little thing. Let's have this stupid little argument about what's better, ice cream or cake, right?
Yeah.
Ice cream cake.
But man, people get into it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that were the battle, which ride would you choose?
Ice cream, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it.
What about cake or pie?
Pie.
Yeah,
But
pie
I'm an
for
old
sure.
man.
Oh,
Pie-
I had some amazing strawberry jubilee pie.
What I like,
Jubilationally?
do you know who Jubilation Lee is?
I know jubilee.
You know she's a vamp. I think she's a vampire now.
She
She
has
was for a bit. I don't know if
she
she
has-
still is.
Yeah. I was gonna say she had a pet dragon, but that was Kitty Pride.
But
Comics are weird.
yeah,
but
it's really
so
neat.
what I like conceptually about Splatoon is what it does. what it kind of does differently from other shooters. I think that because like with any other shooter, like you have like your standard, like you have objective modes in every shooter, right? And they're called different things, but they boil down to the same thing.
Sure.
Like all the objective modes are always like control this or capture this flag or whatever, right? But Splatoon is the first game to do multiplayer and like competitive multiplayer in that way, where like we're not talking about kills, we're not talking about capturing points or whatever. We're talking about just covering a level in as much of your team's color as you can.
Right.
And like in that, like you said, like even if I'm not great at killing other players, I could still positively contribute to the game because every time I miss, I'm still helping.
And even if you're playing a mode in which the goal is not to cover turf,
yeah,
it's still beneficial to do so, you know? I don't know. I think the thing that really gets to me the most though is the controls, because I feel like games aren't going to adopt this, and they absolutely should.
Well, see, I was thinking about that when you mentioned that before, in that motion controls are something that's like not utilized very often in most games. Like thinking about with going back to the PS3. Like there weren't a lot of games that were using motion controls on that platform,
right?
And I haven't come across a lot of games on the PS4 that are utilizing motion controls.
Not in a significant way, at least.
Yeah,
you know.
Like I mean, because the one game that I remember playing on the PS4 was Infamous, and it was only like the only thing that comes to mind is shaking the spray paint can. That's the only thing I can instantly recall. And as far as I know, there is no motion control in the Xbox One. So
I just, I don't think there is either. I just feel like, you know, it's something that would drastically improve the way we play those kinds of games.
Sure.
And it's sad to think that I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I don't see Call of Duty ever coming out and saying, hey, we've got motion control in this.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I thought.
But it really should.
I like the idea of using motion control to control the arc of my throwing a grenade.
Yeah.
From Uncharted.
I mean, it's like using a mouse, you know. I'm not going to say it's on the same level as mouse and keyboard, because it's not, but it is far superior to just 2 analog sticks.
Well, see, that's another...
And it's funny because we've been doing this now. This is now the 4th generation that we've been doing this, right? And it used to be our control schemes would change frequently. The addition of a D-pad, the addition of shoulder buttons, of an analog stick, of 2 analog sticks, right? And it's been so stagnant. It's like the industry has decided... this is how games need to control from now on.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about it is that like the Xbox One X comes out, PlayStation 4 Pro comes out, and the focal point of these presentations is look how great these games look now.
Yeah.
Look how fast these games are now, which is great. Higher frame rate, fine.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Great, better visuals, fine, whatever, right? But I'm not necessarily looking for these games to be prettier.
Right.
I'm looking for new ways to play them.
Well, I think the problem is that all 3 of the big 3 have taken gambles on this, right? Yeah. Whether it's the Move or the Kinect or Wii Motion Plus or whatever it is, and it paid off for some of them, and for some of them it didn't, right? Yeah. You have to get an adapter now if you want to use Kinect.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's why they don't want to take another gamble.
Sure.
Right?
Which is understandable, but
it's so cheap at this point to put gyro into your controller, and then you just leave it to the devs to decide whether they're going to use it or not.
Yeah.
Now, to that point, I don't think Activision's ever going to do it. You know, I don't think Blizzard's ever going to do it, but like, it really should go that way. You know,
Shanee, have you played a lot of Call of Duty in like the past 10 or so years?
I was not like, I was more into Battlefield and Halo.
Yeah.
Ryan was more into Battlefield as well.
Like how did have competitive shooters ever like really been like something you were interested in? Like
I was Battlefield for a while.
Yeah.
For like a year.
Yeah. That's a good amount of time for one game.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. We talked about the other show that me being banned multiple times in WoW. I get competitive.
Yeah.
And then I will just get ugly, and then I'll get frustrated because I'm not where I want to be, and I can't. And I'm just like, I sit there and like look at videos or like listen to like advice from people, and it's just like it's not working out like with certain things that I want it to.
Right.
And it just causes me a lot of stress. And it's like I'm already an angry person, so like let's not make this like worse.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about the game. Like, if you don't want a multiplayer experience. The single player is actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's as good as like the Galaxy games, but it does heavily remind me of the Mario Galaxy games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in the way like levels are segmented.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that has kind of kept me out of, competitive shooters over the past couple of years is just
because he used to be into it.
Yeah, I got bored, man. They the themes change from game to game, right?
Right.
Like there's the Call of Duty is different thematically between now and when Modern Warfare first came out.
Absolutely.
I get that, but in my experience, like the core just kind of remained the same across those games, and it became so homogenous at some point that I was just like, yeah,
I get that, man. I get that.
Like advanced war, like they introduced like new movement mechanics or whatever, but that's not enough for me.
I play PUBG.
Yeah.
And that's like enough for me. Like PUBG is so easy with the rounds and like the whole just being the last person standing and you can win it just by hiding in the right bathroom.
Sure.
I like that.
You can only hide so long.
Unless you just pick the middle of the circle.
Yeah.
Like unless you just stay in that you get a bunch of ammo, stay in that bathroom and just keep shooting anybody goes by.
So you've won a few times then.
I have never gotten a chicken dinner. I have been so close to a chicken dinner. Never has happened.
Berto ever get one?
Yes.
Like solo or with
yes.
squad?
And
man, that guy's a badass.
yeah, like I think it was like his second game he won too.
I got kind of close.
You got like third or fourth.
I got third place on my second match, I think.
But I don't know, especially like newer Call of Duties and kind of like when I look at it now, like when I see this, and like even with Destiny is not as bad, but with the newer Call of Duties now, I'm just like, this just looks stressful.
Yeah.
See, for me, I think that the big thing that I'm not going to tell you how to play your games, but like I think that the big thing for me is that I don't play every Call of Duty. I'll jump in every 3 or 4 years. And when I do, it's fresh to me because it hasn't been oversaturated,
Yeah, I don't see it like the people who have been getting Call of Duty every year.
Right.
Like I don't see how they can do it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that fatigue would get to me because the people who are getting Call of Duty every year, they're playing Call of Duty all year, like from game to game.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's like how do you do that?
Berto did it for a long time and other friends as well.
Yeah.
And the theme and the reoccurring part of that is they have a group. They have like friends, and as y'all know, as you get older, it's harder and harder to hang out with your friends on a regular basis. Yeah. Especially when you don't work or if you don't live close.
But the majority of that audience is flying solo.
Yeah, I'm just talking anecdotally about the people in my life.
Yeah.
That do it. Like they always have like people that they're playing with. They always have a group that like even if the entire group doesn't buy the game, some of them do.
Right.
Yeah.
So like at least you get to see those, like not see, but like hang out with those people and work on a goal towards that. As far as like the solo people, I don't know, man.
I don't see any problem with it. Like I feel like those people kind of look at Call of Duty the same way I look at something like Street Fighter or fucking Tetris. It's just something that you are somewhat good at and you just enjoy doing.
Up until recently, has there been a version of Street Fighter to come out every year? Is that how it works?
No.
Okay.
No, there's never been an annual release of Street Fighter.
Like
has there
maybe
ever
like
been
an
an
update.
annual release of Tetris?
No. Well, I mean, I guess they both for Street Fighter and for Tetris. At some point, there has probably been a point where one came out one year and another came out the next year.
With Street Fighter, I mean like not like Street Fighter 4 one year, the Street Fighter 5 the next year. What I mean is like Street Fighter 4 and then the next year
Arcade, Super, Ultra.
They don't
right
do
now,
it like that?
not typically not back to back. No.
Okay.
Not. I wouldn't say they analyze it, but there is a while that there was like always a new Street Fighter game coming out. It felt like.
Yeah.
As somebody that not in the community, like I'm just saying, like I would look at the shelves when I worked at GameStop, and all of a sudden there's like a new Street Fighter. I'm like, fuck, I gotta find place in the drawer for this bullshit.
Yeah. I remember when I first got a look at Street Fighter 4, and I was like, man, Street Fighter's looking really damn cool. All of a sudden.
I really liked 4, and 4 probably drew the most competition of any Street Fighter game.
Yeah.
But like when I first saw 4, I was not happy.
Why is that? Because
I wanted the sprite work.
Okay.
Did
Did you come around to it later?
Oh
on?
yeah, I'm over it now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like Street Fighter's just never going to be that again.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
You know.
What was the cover? Was it Ultra Arcade that had like the really 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 busy cover?
Well, Arcade had like several characters on there. You know.
There was
I feel like
explosions.
I feel like
it was, really
Arcade was
orange.
probably the busiest cover. They're all kind of orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I think about it, like when I think of Street Fighter, when I think of the cover, I'm like,
As far as
There's-
4 goes, they're
there's
all
the-
kind of orange.
there's some orange in there.
Yeah.
Some oranges, some lime greens.
So you there was mention of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds a moment ago, and
Yes.
I recently got like, 'cause I subscribed to Humble Monthly like this past month, and they gave me a copy of H1Z1. And so I played a couple of rounds of that, and on a surface, okay, as someone who has only played a total of 2 or 3 matches of Battlegrounds, and played only a few matches of H1Z1, they are on the surface the same.
They're the same genre.
They're the same genre. There is a lot of similarities between them. But the way it was explained to me, and I'm not huge into any of these games.
Yeah.
I've spent the most time with PUBG, but even that I haven't put that much time into.
Right.
H1Z1 is kind of like the simplest. Then PUBG's a little more complex,
Yeah.
and then DayZ's even more complex than that.
Yeah.
But like H1Z1, to my knowledge, doesn't have like gun modifications in the same way that PUBG does.
I don't think so. No.
Things of that nature.
Yeah.
You know,
And
there are
also-
things to make it simpler.
Yeah, like for example, like in my time with Battlegrounds, I remember like I would run around for a little while before finding a gun or
Right.
something. Like in H1Z1, they're just fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they're just
Well,
they're just everywhere.
It also depends on where you fall.
Right.
Like you can fall in an area that like it's a fuck ton of awesome guns around.
Yeah.
And,
But
like,
there's going to be
scopes.
more people in that area
Yeah.
typically, you know, because they want all that shit.
Yeah.
Go to the apartments.
Also, so I got to I've been playing a couple of games that like I've been anticipating for some time. So I mentioned before that I started playing Horizon Zero Dawn. That is, man, that game is it's something else.
Can you believe the Killzone guys made that?
In some ways I can. You know, there are like for a developer who has just made first person shooters, it's for them to like come out and like make a third person open world action adventure game is actually, it's like this first effort is like really impressive.
Yeah.
The actual combat in the game, it's like it's fun. Like finding the right strategy to take down like different machines. It's like it's rewarding when it goes right, and it's like terrifying and frustrating when it doesn't.
Just use those tethers.
I've been using the tethers a lot. That's like
Just rage against them.
like the tethers are like the cornerstone of my strategy in most cases.
But you do have to craft them, though,
Can
don't
you
you?
Yeah.
can you like leave some like machinery on the ground, like pieces that you have, like nuts and bolts, and like distract him that way?
No, but well,
You should try that strategy.
I just imagine like fucking Ratchet and Clank bolts all over the ground.
Yeah, you should try that strategy.
We'll see, like, because some of them seem to like to eat plants.
Weirdos.
Yeah, like why?
When there's McGriddles, why eat plants?
Why would you eat plants in a world where McGriddles exist? Well, to be fair, McGriddles no longer exist in the world of Horizon Zero Dawn.
You don't know.
Well, no, I guess I don't.
It might be the final McGriddle level.
But no, the game, the whole part of like sneaking up on like a herd of machines and like saying, okay, so I know what path they're taking, and I know what maybe I should lay like a tripwire down here to like get them caught up, and then use my slingshot to do a lot of damage to them at once, and like thinking about all that, and you know, setting up a strategy and hoping that it pays off and you don't die. It's probably like the most fun I have while playing that game. The archery in that game is like really on point, which is to be expected considering that that's kind of, I feel like, the crux of Aloy's abilities or whatever. There's just one thing that's just been sticking out in my mind, and I don't know if it's because I have so much experience with open world games, and I don't know if it's because I've been playing a lot of Shadow of War lately, and I played a lot of Assassin's Creed games, but she can't climb a whole lot.
Bitch can't climb.
It's just weird because like the game okay at the onset. The game it makes it a point to highlight how agile Aloy is and like how good she is at negotiating her environment.
You think she could be like parkour hardcore, but she can't?
It makes it seem like she'd be really good at climbing shit. And
it's funny you say that because that game came out alongside Breath of the Wild, and that's one of the biggest things that people compared was that you could climb everything in this and you can't climb shit in that.
Yeah, because like Aloy can.
There's a small plastic boulder.
It's weird because she can climb very specific things.
Yeah.
Like, and the game kind of tells you without telling you what those things are. Like if it's highlighted in yellow, you can climb it.
How Uncharted.
Indeed. But there's also like along certain cliff faces that like there will be outcroppings that are kind of trimmed in white. It's hard to explain it, but you kind of know it when
I know
you
what
see
you
them.
mean.
And it's like
Tomb Raider did a lot of
yeah. But like, and so those are it, and they're not very common. And the game, but the thing about it is that the game kind of goes out of its way to put things above you a lot. Like collect this thing, but it's like really high up there. So good luck figuring out how to get up there. And that is really jarring to me because like when I have a game that's like got a huge world that the developers very obviously want me to explore and enjoy, they don't make it a whole lot of fun to get around in it.
That's annoying.
Like I want them to make me not want to fast travel, but fast travel is like I feel like I have to at most cases. You can get machines that like can act as mounts. As far as I know, there are 2 that can act as your mount.
Yeah, they showed one in one of the gameplay demos for it.
Yeah. They don't seem to be much faster than just like running on foot. The advantage to using them though is that they will automatically follow the road with no input from you. So like you can kind of just set the controller down and wait for them to get there.
It's probably fun to do too.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you have to watch out because sometimes a machine will pop up and give you the what for.
Speaking of fast travel, in Final Fantasy XIV, I sent y'all the thing. I got a chocobo, named it Corn Dog.
Good name.
So I didn't realize that you can, once you get to a certain level, you can get that chocobo to fight alongside you.
Yeah.
And that its name will pop up when you're walking around the town and like in the areas. So I just think it's awesome that I have Corn Dog just following around
and you can
taking
get,
shit down.
Because like you can spec them like different ways. Like there's like a caster and like a tank. Yeah. And I remember I used that a lot, like to help me like when I was doing quest solo. Like I need like they can heal you too.
Yeah, one thing I don't like about Final Fantasy XIV is it makes it very hard to level up with somebody else. Like we have to disband the party all the time because it's like you must be like only a discipline of blah 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 to get. And I'm like,
I have a lot of games with level and co-op play have that problem.
Yeah, well, like I don't know. I've played a lot of MMOs. I've never had to disband a party as often as I do in Final Fantasy XIV. Like,
but I mean, not just MMOs, just most multiplayer games with leveling seem to have that issue. And like, I prefer it to be a slow grind than like, let's say Diablo 3, where they have their apprentice system. Yeah. So like, if I'm high level and Ryan's level 2, he'll just shoot the fuck up.
And it
that's so dumb.
And like it kind of takes away that accomplishment. I feel like
but I also get it because it's like y'all are wanting to do more in-game stuff.
Right. No, I understand why they do it.
But like
I'm just saying it's flawed.
All right. Yeah. I just like if I have to disband a party to watch a fucking cutscene. It's stupid. Like I'm not doing anything. Why do I have to like? Why can't I just do this by myself?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for as little respect as that game has, for this game I should say has, I feel like Dead Island did it the best. Where
God, you see they releasing that shit again?
Again?
Yeah.
Like they already did
Hey,
the definitive
did you miss
edition.
Curb
There's like
stomping
some
shit?
there's some new edition for it. I'm just like, stop.
Yeah.
Hey, people need their curb stomps.
And
and
but
nothing
like
else.
the way they did it was that like let's say Shanee, let's say that you and I are playing Dead Island together, right? I'm okay. Let's not get crazy. Okay,
We're not actually gonna play. Keep that in mind.
But let's say I'm level 15, right, and you're level 4. So we'll come up on the same enemy. Like you and I are gonna fight an enemy, right? To you, that enemy will be level 4. To me, it'll be my level.
I like that better.
And then like so our damage can be proportionately appropriate.
Yeah.
So we're both contributing to it. So
That makes way more sense.
and like it works really well, and it works like I had a group of people that I would play with like back when that game first came out, and like it worked like no matter what level we were, like we could all
have fun together.
we could all have fun because like that's how it was set up. And I'm actually surprised, like I don't know that no one else does this, but like I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen that more
I
often.
can't think of an example, you know.
But like with MMOs, like I feel like it's more often than like other types of games that we brought up. Maybe not. But like MMOs, like yeah, you're supposed to play with a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to play with a fuck ton of people. Why
Yeah.
can't I be in a party with them?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, for all that game does right, there are some weird things that it does wrong.
I want some Chocobo clothes. If you are a listener and you're playing that game and you want to send me some Chocobo clothes, my Chocobo is so naked.
Leave it naked. That's what God intended. Also,
sorry, I interrupted
also-
your fast travel about Horizon. Did you want to add any more about that?
yeah, well,
Can't
like,
climb,
for
have to
as
fast
many
travel.
for as many complaints that I have about that game, they're all like centered around world traversal.
Can't climb.
And I feel like I like that game a lot, and I feel like I would like it so much more if I could do those things. But for all that though, the game has been a really fun experience. Like that world is interesting. The characters are for the most part really cool. I like Aloy a lot as a character too.
Her character design's pretty cool too.
Yeah, and like there are some weird lip sync issues with that. I don't want to say issues because I don't know if this is how they intended it or not, but there's just some weird things going on with the lip syncing in that game that like I notice every time I see it. But you know that a lot of the I remember before that game came out, there was a lot of showing of like that huge T-Rex looking machine.
Yeah.
They're called a Thunderjaw. Taking one of those down.
Does it talk? How does it sound?
I don't know. It's a lot of beeps and bloops, and but like taking one of those down was really satisfying. Like Tom says, I use a lot of those tethers. Like I tethered it down, and like he fell over, and I just like shot a bunch of like. So I used my slingshot to shoot a bunch of bombs at it, and watch pieces fly off of him. Then like he has this gun that fires explosive discs, kind of like Revolution X with the explosion CDs. But you pick that up, and then I was shooting those discs at him and like knocking more pieces off him. It was really cool.
I feel like there's room there for Predacon DLC.
Yeah.
Terrorize.
Or just like a Megatron skin for the Thunderjaw.
Sure.
I would be fine with that. Also been playing Assassin's Creed Origins, which
You can climb in there.
you can do a shitload of climbing in that game.
You can climb everything.
That game it's fun, but like the combat is just like really, to me, it's awkward.
People
Y'all
had
said that
complaints about the combat before it came out.
Yeah.
You said during the E3
Yeah.
that it didn't look like it was different than any other Assassin's Creed game.
The combat looked different for sure, but not in the best
Like
way,
on a
though.
surface,
I argued that point that it was that looked different, and you're like, not much.
on a surface for somebody who doesn't.
I don't recall that. I'm not going to say that didn't happen.
For somebody who doesn't like, I could very much like I could look at Assassin's Creed 2 and look at Assassin's Creed Origins, and aside from the setting, if I didn't pay attention to those games, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you the difference.
But I mean, you have things like there's more dodge rolling and stuff like that in Origins. The problem with Assassin's Creed Origins combat, which people have been saying since preview events before the game even released, is that there are ways to get around certain encounters where you basically don't have to do anything. They changed up the combat system in an attempt to make it more engaging.
Sure.
And they seem to, at least in some instances, made it to where you can just like
Avoid it.
not so much avoid it, but God, what's the word for it? Exploit, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of exploits for certain encounters from what I hear. I've not played the game.
What I understand, like a lot of people are saying that like because the game has a skill tree that like it has 3 skill trees, I should say, and one of those skill trees unlocks a smoke bomb, and from what I understand, like the smoke bomb pretty much like trivializes combat in that game to the point where like you throw down a smoke bomb, just like every encounter is like really easy.
But I do know people who are really enjoying it.
Like as an Assassin's Creed game, it's probably it's one that I'm liking a whole lot. I like the main character Bayek. He's probably, of all the Assassin's Creed games that I've played over the past 10 years, he's probably the protagonist that like has the most likable personality. Because he's kind of like he's like this very much this like
You didn't like Manhorn?
Manhorn.
Man-whoring.
Oh, Ezio?
Yeah.
I mean, he was alright, but he was kind of like that guy who's cooler than you, but also very much acts like he's cooler than you. Whereas Bayek is like very much like, I'm a man of the people. Hey, he's like, hey, I love kids. I'm a family man and things like that. So he's got friends and like he's always like everybody in town likes him and like, hey, Bayek, how's it going? And he's like, hey, glad to see you. Like he's very much.
How's your kid? I know there was a flu last week.
Yeah, like he's like a likable guy and like everybody like knows him and it's cool to see that.
It's cool to play through that and have everyone like you.
Yeah, I mean it's nice.
You know, I think is really cool too is that they took a year off, and the sales have proven that was the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
Right, because this has already made twice as much as their last game.
Yeah.
So if they just made that game again last year, you know, like this has made them more. Taking a year off has been more profitable to them,
right,
rather than releasing a game last year and this year.
Sure. And
I mean, we can't say that for sure.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I feel like on a long
mathematically speaking,
like on a long enough timeline, that's going to turn out to be true. I think.
Right. Which is a shame because, like, you know, they're already making the next one. You know they are.
Yeah.
But
the game, like as far as you know, because the game introduces, you know, this new loot system, and like the thing about it is the thing about games like this, and I get this, and I was going through this with Shadow of War too, is like it comes a point where I'm getting new weapons like too like so quickly that like going through my inventory screen just becomes like a chore at that point.
Buy it.
Like I picked like in a matter of like 30 minutes I'll pick up like 4 new swords and a spear and some other shit, and it's like I'm just
well, as far as Shadow of War is concerned, I've heard from multiple sources that it's more fun when you don't make those purchases.
Yeah, I can't speak to that because I haven't spent any money on that game besides like the initial buy-in cost. But I mean, I can't like based on what I've played of that game, like I can't imagine not just like grinding through that shit.
Yeah.
You know, like because like one of the things was like people were worried like, well, all the best orcs are hidden behind a paywall,
right?
Which, as far as I know, like I've gotten like the highest rarity of orc, and I didn't pay a cent to do that.
Look at Ryan.
Yeah. I'm actually really good at at
taming orcs.
At taming orcs.
Not so much giant robot monsters.
No, not so much that. But I will be.
They'll get there.
But you know,
just buy all the tethers.
It's funny because like the last few AAA games that I've bought have all been like huge open world games, so I should probably pay more attention to what I'm doing. But you know, that's the thing too, is because I got Horizon Zero Dawn and Assassin's Creed like really close to each other, and as good as Horizon is, like when I'm playing it, I'm just like I kind of just want to play Assassin's Creed right now.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And
he likes climbing. Boy likes to climb.
Sure.
And that's
some Breath of the Wild.
And that's not to say that Horizon Zero Dawn isn't fun, because like when you're having like a really like good fight in that game, it's like really engaging, especially like if you get all like if your equipment is all lined up and like things are just like going the exact right way, like it's super engaging. But there's something about Assassin's Creed that I'm finding more enjoyable. The game, and also you can kind of tell that like aesthetically, like you can very much tell that like this is made by the same people who made Killzone. Because
that doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it doesn't bother me. I'm just saying it's like you can like even if you didn't like they didn't come out and say it, like you can. It's the similarities are there. I mean, it's a really good game. It's just Assassin's Creed is just so cool.
So.
That reminded me of the Unabomber sketch in Upright Citizens Brigade, where the Unabomber accidentally revealed that he was the Unabomber, and he just goes, "Oh."
What are you gonna plug today?
Actually, I wanted to plug a comic book series that I put down like a few years ago, and I only recently started reading again. It's this comic called Chew, CHEW. It's about this detective who has the power to anytime he tastes something, he can like he sees the memories of that thing in his head. Like if he eats like a piece of beef, then he like sees like the farm that cow was on. So like he's used that for like his crime, like his forensic duties. Like he goes to a crime scene, he'll taste a drop of blood, and he'll see like the last moments of that person's life and get an idea of what happened.
That's like infections and diseases.
Sure, I wouldn't recommend tasting strange blood or really any blood for that matter. But it's darkly comical. It's got a really cool art style.
What, Tom?
I'm just thinking about in Resident Evil when Jill and Barry go into the dining room. And
Barry.
Oh yeah.
And he puts his hand in the like. Does he actually taste it or is he smelling it? Like what's he doing?
No, he does the thing like he does that thing.
I remember him.
The viscosity of his blood.
No, because because we were playing it a couple weeks ago, and I made the joke that he would like he tasted Dad of the Year, Barry Barton. But yeah, I like Chew a lot. I would definitely recommend you at least take a look at it.
Who wrote that?
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but it's like I said, it's like it's serious in some parts, but like a lot of it's like it's got like a really darkly comical overtone to it that I really enjoy. And I discovered it like during my period of time, like maybe back in 2012, where I just got Comixology and I was just kind of going crazy on it and like buying every comic that looked moderately cool, and it's kind of just how I found it, and I found myself like buying pretty much every issue that I could find.
Say issue.
Issue.
Okay.
John Layman wrote
Did I say it weird?
I heard issue.
No, I said. Maybe I said issue.
Yeah.
Issue.
She was written by John Layman and the art's by Rob Gilroy.
Or there you go.
Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. I'll let one of you guys plug something. I'll let you guys use my plug time.
Splatoon, play it.
You guys ever heard of Splatoon? All right, guys. I guess that's it for this week. Again, thank you for spending the last hour with us. As always, it's a great time. If you want to talk to us, we have a Discord. So that'll be...
And Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, we have all the... Well, we kind of have Twitter. We don't really use it, but...
I use it.
Well, talk to Tom on Twitter. Anyway, this has been the Save Continue podcast. My name is Ryan Robinson. That's Shanae Howard.
Bye, guys.
That's Tom Shelby.
Goodbye.
See you next week.